How's it going, everybody? Welcome to week 15. Only a couple more weeks left of the semester. Yeah, kind of covered the more main world religions. Look at some indigenous religions of Polynesia and the Americas. I looked over everyone's indigenous or indigenous American discussion posts. Lots of really great artifacts. And again, I just wanted to kind of have people pick something they were interested that they found interesting, and it was a really good collection of a lot of interesting, a lot of masks, a mug, which was cool, kind of the everyday stuff. But it's, people use those kind of things, bags. What else did I see there? Some sort of a wand or a stick, all sorts of cool stuff. Good job on that. And again, that resource, as I was kind of playing around on it there as well. I mean, if you're ever interested in anything, Native American or indigenous to the Americas, that museum has such a good collection, and so many good exhibits. There's a whole thing I found of art, just art by region. It was great. If going forward, if you ever have something to do for another class that has to do with the Americas, it's good. And actually, there's a lot of stuff from Hawaii that is there as well as part of the indigenous peoples of America. There's that. Really good. Hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you learned something new as well with that project. And then this week we're kind of going to East Asia. There's a couple traditions that Confucianism, Taoism, which to call them religious is a little bit maybe problematic, but they have a lot of traditions. They have Taoism probably has a lot of ceremonies. Taoism maybe a little more religious, but mainly they're a little more philosophical. But they do shape, as religions do. They have these functions within society to answer questions. Confucianism really deals with the questions of how we should live and behaviors. This idea, this Junzi ideal that humans should attempt to cultivate good qualities amongst themselves. Confucius isn't a god; he's a man, and he wrote this, his ideas were compiled. This book, the Analects, that are still very important and influential in China today. Taoism's a little bit different. All right, Taoism, though they both came up at the same time, this sort of this period of Chinese history where things were really fragmented and there wasn't a social cohesion, and so people were asking themselves, what's going on here? How can we make it more stable? And Confucianism said humans should if they act in a respectful way within their sort of family life, that will transpire to the public world, right? And then there'll be sort of a connection there. Taoism says, there's why try to create this when nature already gives us this path of harmony. It's there. Just look at the natural elements and emulate those. Bring those into your own life. It's a wu wei. If you try to act against nature, go like paddling upstream, right? That turn and go with the water, right? Water is both hard and strong, right? So use those. And Taoism, the Tao itself is this entity, this essence that provides a model to emulate. So I gave some reading there. Hopefully you got a little sense of both of those. And the other one that comes up is Shintoism, which is the sort of indigenous religion of Japan. Talked about the ideas of kami. Amaterasu is a major one, the sun goddess. Her big jinja, the Shinto shrines and temples, is in Ise. She's also the patron deity, if you will, kami of the imperial family. So she's very important. I think I gave a little story about her getting stuck in the cave and then having to come out. There's all sorts of kami they can personify certain things. Kami of agriculture, or the sun, or boku kami, the trees, or certain natural figures. Mount Fuji is a kami in itself, is a mountain and also a sacred site. So, and then other part of Shintoism is matsuri, festivals, and there's a lot of those throughout the world, or throughout Japan, throughout all year round. There's the New Year's one is a big one, particularly New Year's Day, and then in certain foods you eat, and then there's a spring Setsuban. There's a lot of summer ones as well, Tanabata festival, and then so there's a lot of them throughout the year. So Um, Hopefully, you just get a little taste of that. And that Soul of Japan reading, I think, really lays out a lot of what Shintoism is. I feel it's very accessible. It's not, there's a lot more to be said about Shintoism, but hopefully, again, this just kind of gives you a sense of those main ideas. And then this week, the quiz you have a quiz, your last quiz of the semester before the final, but the finals, more review than anything. But the quiz here will yeah, it's on what we've learned, so the indigenous ideas of Polynesia, the Americas, Confucianism, Taoism, Shintoism. The nice thing about this quiz, there's no writing on this quiz. It's just all sort of matching fill in the blank and then associations with figures and textual things. So if you've been following along with the course material, it should be pretty easy, pretty straightforward. 50 points available to take on Friday from 9 a.m. to 11:55 p.m. If you have any questions about it, let me know. There are quite a few announcements this week. One, student elections are going on, so the student government and as well as student activities council are there. So so get involved if there's somebody you want to vote for the student government. And then SAC, Student Activities Council, there's only one person who signed up for that. Student Activities Council, what it does is everyone pays student fees, and then it helps allot those to campus activities. So if you're interested, and you get a stipend if you're on either of these. But Student Activities Council, if you're interested, you get paid for it. You meet like once every 2 weeks, and you just kind of review and allot money. And so you gotta and it's good practice for seeing how the systems work, positions of leadership. So if anybody's interested in that, looks great on a resume. Feel free to join SAC or sign up. You can still do that. I gave all the information there. Also, Saturday is Hawaii CC Day. If you have time, make it to that. There's programs, there's things all going on all over La'onua, Earth Week, Earth Day, or Earth Week as well. So lots going on this week. If you got some time, check it out. All right, have a good rest of your week.